as Rachel Silver. I think I might have started speaking before it actually went live, so take two. Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Silver. I'm an Access Consciousness facilitator. So amazingly grateful for these tools because they really have changed my life. Even this morning when I went into Muck and Yuck by reading over my chapter, by reading over some of my friends' chapters in this book, Where is My Doorway to Possibilities? I suddenly had so much more space and so much more ease to go from frustration and tears to having a lot more space. And so I thought it might be fun to read my chapter out loud to you. And so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to shrink the screen down so that I can actually read the document. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about it, or you would like to order a copy of the book, go to whereismydoorwayofpossibilities.com, and you'll have all the links for, I think, all the international Amazon Kindle shops. Right now, it's only available on Kindle. The print should be coming out within the next couple of months. It's a really big book. It's about 500 pages. So I don't know. For me, Kindle is just great right now. But regardless, hope you enjoy. And I hope it's a contribution to your life. So here we go. Now this book, when you receive it, when you read it, you'll notice there's a mix of genres in it, lots of different topics, lots of different contributors, and lots of different ideas. This book was based on a telesummit that I participated in. It was my very first telesummit in 2015. And everyone received their transcripts. Everyone went into different sorts of, oh my God, I really said that, or wow, I can't believe I talked so long. This is 30-something pages. So it was quite an experience, both participating in the telesummit and then actually looking at the transcript and making heads and tails of it to create a book. So it's a lot of fun. There is something for everyone in the book, and I really do hope you enjoy it. So my chapter is a little different. It's called, my door is closed. My door is closed. Have you ever been there? Have you looked around you and seen no way out, no way through, just barriers and obstacles everywhere you look? And when everyone else speaks of possibilities, have you wondered if there are any there for you? So when Nilofer Safdar contacted me to invite me to participate in her telesummit, I had just chosen to come out of hiding. Literally. Hiding, you might wonder. Yes, hiding, just so. Hiding behind any door, peeking through cracks, being camouflaged, or better yet, invisible. And in short, being addicted to the wrongness of me. But does that sound familiar, my friends? For years, I lived as a perpetual fly on the wall, blending in, staying safe, and no one need know I even exist. I lived a life of compromising, a life of not making waves, a life of pleasing everyone else and living for everyone else. So when Nilofer contacted me, I balked. I breathed. I'm going to breathe right now. I stepped into the discomfort and I accepted. And then she shared the title of the telesummit with me, The Doorways of Infinite Possibilities. Now, those beautiful doorways are fine and dandy for everyone who actually sees them, who opens them. But what about me and others like me, the people who don't even see a door? Or if they see one, what if that door is locked and barred and blockaded? Do we give up? Do we give in? Do we quit? Well, this is where I went when Nilofer asked me to participate. What if there's no door? Yikes! Now what? So let's see about this elusive doorway. Whether it is there or not, will we let that be the thing that stops us? If we just knew there has to be a way, even if we do not see it clearly or see it at all, what can we do? A late night locked door adventure. When I was a teenager, I went to a modeling program. Yes, me, so that I would carry myself with more poise and confidence and even learn a few beauty tips. You should see me now. And you do. All the parents were invited to attend our final presentation, a runway show. And at the end of the evening, my parents and I were just about the last people to leave the building. The elevators were not working, so we went down several flights of stairs to a door that led outside the building. Except the door didn't open at all. And as we walked slowly back up the next flight of stairs, that door would not open either, nor the next set. That was a massive ah! And hence the title of this chapter. So what do you do when a door doesn't open? Do you bang on it? Do you shout? Do you call for help? Well, we did, all three, and no one came. So my father, bless him for always being prepared, took out his pocket knife and began to dig a hole in the sheetrock wall. He broke through to be able to reach the door handle on the other side, and that's how we finally left the building. Years later, I saw a similar doorway, and on the opposite wall was a button that said, "Press here to exit." And memories of that nighttime adventure flooded in. It seemed so familiar, so deja vu all over again. Holy moly, what if there had been a button like that all along and we just never even noticed it? One click on that button and we would have been free to step out with ease. No struggle, no effort, no sweat, and no broken walls. So how much is truly available when we're willing to take off our blinders, our filters, and look around us? How much of what can be ease and joy and fun do we refuse to see and to acknowledge? Well, that was the very first image that popped into my head when I heard doorways to possibilities. What came to mind was my father with the knife and breaking through no matter what, even if it means going through the wall. Never give up, never give in, never quit. And not that things have to be difficult either. We can choose ease too, when we're willing to take our blinders off. And yes, I am referring to all those decisions and conclusions that we've already come to about how hard something supposedly is. And we can see other possibilities, many of which we've never even noticed before. What color are your blinders? So how many decisions and conclusions and judgments and definitions have you come to that are keeping you stuck? How many points of view are you making greater than you? Where have you given up being you to please everybody else? Have you judged how you see the world as all good, white, or all bad, black? And what are the colors and the possibilities that you are not noticing? When we refuse to see all the possibilities, or at least a few of them, we stay contained and stuck in our own jail or box, a container of our own making. Does it sound familiar? Have you ever been there and done that? Well, here are some of the ways that I've defined myself and created my very own limited world. Being the good girl, being the good daughter, being the good student. Notice a pattern? Being good in general. Getting married and being the good wife. Being the good mom. Keeping the family together and doing everything for others. Living life according to other people's expectations and just going with the program. And there's so much more. I won't bore you with the details. I just like to ask you to become aware if you do that in your own life. So what have you defined yourself as? How do you begin to step out of the trap that you've created? That locked, though possibly beautifully decorated and really cozy jail cell? Where's your doorway, or for that matter, even the exit sign? First of all, please be aware that there are infinite possibilities available to you when you begin to ask questions, and they may not all look like doorways. Would you be willing to notice any opening that shows up, like windows and gateways, escape hatches, cracks, and even those press here to exit buttons? What if nothing ever looked the way that you thought that it should? So look around you and begin to ask questions. Questions invite in the magic of the universe, whereas conclusions conclude. Become aware of and celebrate the rightness in your situation. There is a silver lining if you're willing to acknowledge it. So ask, what's right about this I'm not getting? And what's right about me that I'm not getting, as often as you can. Side comment I did today a lot, quite helpful. Notice I did not ask what is wrong with you. If you're anything like me, you've been there already, at least a few times. And really, what if there's nothing at all wrong with you? So to get out of where you're stuck, begin doing something that you've never done before. So will you give up going to the wrongness of you as an automatic response to life? Great, thank you. And perhaps you just might begin to notice even more things that are right in your life. What do you admire about yourself? Life in the coffin zone. So do any of those definitions and expectations that we mentioned earlier make you feel light and expansive and tingly and yummy all over? I thought so. Me neither. Living a life of complacency, normalcy, stability, and following the program is living in your comfort zone, or as I like to call it, your coffin zone. And that's one heck of a self-containment unit, isn't it? That coffin zone is your very own custom-made box. And once you acknowledge the magnificent container that you've created to trap yourself inside, you can begin to see how to take it apart and to choose something else. Yes, your comfort zone may be cushy and comfortable. Yes, it's familiar and stable and solid and real. It is everything that you've defined and everything that you've allowed to limit you. But what if there's more? How much have you locked away from your life by thinking that you've already got it right? So everything you're defending for and against in order to maintain the stability in your life, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So consider this your invitation. You can stay inside of your favorite coffin, or you can open it and peek out. You can look around you, open the door a crack, and make a choice. Just a choice. Not the choice of a lifetime, not the one choice that rules all choices. Just a choice. A choice for a few seconds, and a choice that invites you to play. A choice that invites you to wonder. A choice. What if what's on the other side is not scary, or even what you've predetermined that it should be? What if it is simply whatever it is? And guess what, you lucky duck, you get to choose again. Your choice will bring up an awareness, a knowing in your world. So will you choose? The awareness you get follows the choice that you make. So when you choose, you might fall flat on your face or get a skinned knee. You might fail miserably or even gracefully, and then you still have the freedom to choose again. Imagine yourself standing before a series of doorways. You can look at all of them and begin to choose, opening them one by one. Well, what if you choose to open a door that has a lion roaring behind it? Quick, shut it, and recognize that you can say, whoa, yikes, next choice. Every choice you make brings an awareness. And what that means is first you choose, and then you perceive what that choice will create in the world. When you choose something, you get a subtle ping, a whisper of awareness. And if that ping is light and expansive and tingly, it's a great choice for you. If it's heavy and contracted, you just might consider making another choice. Ease on down the road. The awareness of what's true for you, what is light and expansive, is your GPS guidance system, your inner personalized tour guide to your life. Just keep choosing what is light and joyful and fun. That's what's true for you. Sometimes you might override your GPS and wander about a little lost until you get back on that light and expansive yellow brick road. And hey, off-road adventures can be wonderful as well. You can pick the wildflowers and look up at the clouds, as long as you keep choosing every few seconds. So what if you get lost? Will you cut yourself some slack? You've gotten off the road and created havoc for yourself. So guess what? You can ask a question and choose something else. And ease on down that road again. Do you allow yourself to fail? What if you decided failure is? And how much have you used that to stop yourself? How many times did Thomas Edison fail when he invented the incandescent light bulb? Wasn't it over 9,000 times? Would you have given up before then? I probably would have. Yet Edison carried on. He was willing to be a doorway to a new possibility, and I have gratefully enjoyed sitting in a brightly lit room while it's dark outside. Now, I don't have to figure out how electricity works, I just flip a switch and enjoy it. Because Mr. Edison didn't give up. He found lots of ways that didn't work, and he kept going until he found one that did. So what if you stopped yourself from creating because it wasn't as fast or as easy or smooth or as direct as you thought that it should be? How much have you stopped creating by being unwilling to fail? What gifts has the world missed out on by your giving up? And you're not alone. So do you ever allow yourself to fail, to be wrong, to screw up, to make a less than glorious choice that, well, just doesn't contribute to the life that you'd like to have? And are you an allowance of you? Because you know, my friend, you can always choose again. Begin with wonder. Are you willing to be curious? Questions are truly wonderful. Wonderful. I like that. Questions are truly wonderful. Real, open-ended, curiosity-inducing questions bring up a wondering and openness to receive awarenesses. Most of the questions we've asked our whole lives do not involve any wonder. They're glorified answers with a question mark attached on the end for good measure. When you decide, prejudge, or answer, it's already concluded, finished, kaput. No energy to follow and no adventure to explore. Every question within it has a quest. The adventure unfolds as you choose. If something isn't working in your life, what if you could ask questions like, what can I be and do different here that will change this? And what else is possible that I've never even considered? And when you wonder, truly wonder, so many more doorways begin to open up in your world, for you and for everyone. So when you ask a question, will you be present for whatever energies come up? Whatever they are, yummy or not, just be with them. Notice them. Be present with them. Acknowledge them, be grateful for them. In some way, those energies have served you, and now you can release them with no judgment or resistance. You can destroy and uncreate. We use the clearing statement, POC and POD. Each point of view, you can just choose to be different from now on. Then just let it all go. It's a choice. So what energy, space, and consciousness can we be that would allow us to fail, to fall, to experiment, and to enjoy, even to soar whenever we choose to, with total ease? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POC, POD, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Would you be willing to let go of how you think anything should show up? All those lovely projections and expectations that keep you shouldn't all over yourself. Will you let those go too? Change never looks the way we think it will look, does it? It just is what it is. It's not right or wrong. It just is. And it's not nearly as big or bad or as impossible to get over as we think it is. It's not all lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So all that dark stuff that we've been stuffing away and hiding for years, what if it isn't what we thought it was? What if it is exactly what has brought us right here, right now, to this moment and to this choice? If you're willing to get over your point of view, that it's bad, you just might surprise yourself. And as Dr. Dane here reminds us so often, what if the change we're asking for never looks the way we think it should? A possibility could show up as a door, a window, a little garden path, a gate, a little crack, a mouse hole, and a little light that's shining through that lets you know there is a way. And suddenly, things don't seem so solid and heavy and real. There's a whole new world of possibilities available to you. Are you willing to be surprised? What grand and glorious adventures can you have today? What possibilities can you now perceive that you've never allowed yourself to perceive? That if you'd be willing to perceive them would change all realities? What are you unwilling to be? If you give yourself up and never be all of you, what would the world be missing? Yep, you got it, the gift and the presence of you. We've been everything and done everything already, so what's the value of stopping yourself? Well, what have you defined as failure? What have you deemed and decided is wrong about you? What if you judged yourself as eternally failing and flopping? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What are you unwilling to be? Everything you're unwilling to be locks you up and limits you. What would change when you be willing to be that which you've refused? Might it change all realities? A few years ago, or was it months, I was very unwilling to be silly. Very. My stick was shoved so high up my butt that it practically served as an antenna above my head. Silliness and fun had no room in my life, or they would just come out when I played with animals or my kids. I valued being taken seriously and being respected. Being silly would mean that I was an outright failure, because no one could receive me. If I were being silly, then I couldn't be seductive, or inviting, or intellectual, or aware, or so I decided. Being silly and not being taken seriously was failing in my world. Call it what you will, it was not fun. It wasn't all giggles and ease. It was a mix of shame with a dash of, I'm not willing to receive all that judgment of me, so I'd rather nobody notice when I mess up. And I became invisible. Every day that's changing. I'm now joyfully messing up in public big time. I'm speaking out more. I'm willing to grate on anyone's ears with my bastardized Spanish. I live in Guatemala. I'm willing to have my classes in any mix of languages and throw in impromptu songs and words as well. I am facilitating people. Get that? Silly in the middle? That energy of, hi, want to have some fun? Invites other people to experiment and to let down their barriers too. It isn't for everyone, and that's just fine. What if we didn't have to walk a tightrope of expectations, looking for approval? What if we could twist and shout or twirl and swirl and slip and slide, being us? Those who would like to have that energy in their lives will find us. Did you know that failing, that stumbling along and finding our way, and that instability doesn't have to be hard? It can include lots of laughter and giggling. It can become a whole new dance. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and step and another step. Now step and stumble, step and tumble, step and twirl and step and soar. How many times can we fall down and how much fun can we have falling? And what if we did not make falling or failure very significant? Where have we tried to make our life so right that we've locked ourselves right out of it? Everything we resist, including resisting failing, resisting being wrong, being seen, or anything else, we solidify and create more of in our world. Between Susie Godsey and Blossom Benedict of Access Consciousness, I think I received the wedgie of a lifetime during a Right Voice for You class when they said, oh, Rachel, she's so sweet, yet she's like a mite, you know, invisible and annoying. And I thought, holy moly guacamole, me? Really? Invisible and annoying? Oh my goodness. And I went into the wrongness of me for about an hour or more. And then I said, well, okay, what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to be the most invisible, most irritating, most annoying, most pesky, most mighty little mite on the planet? And within a couple of weeks after I began running that verbal process, Nilofer Safdar contacted me to participate in her Illusion to Illumination Telesummit. Where is my doorway to possibilities? So what else is possible? And how does it get any better? When you're willing to be everything, with no judgment, and without resistance, you have total choice. Do you know that adage, what you resist persists? Maintaining a resistance to something takes a lot of energy. This is energy that you could be using to create something generative instead. Well, what if you no longer resisted anything? What if resistance is futile? Thanks, Star Trek. What are you in the computation of your life? Where are you in the computation of your life when you resist? When you begin to be playful, relaxed, and open, and you're willing to experiment with everything, there is total space and total freedom. That's what I love about the ESC clearings, those energy, space, and consciousness clearings. So embracing all of you with the energy, space, and consciousness clearings is really, really easy to do. Just ask, what energy, space, and consciousness can I be that would allow me to be the fill in the blank I truly be? Fill in the blank whatever is coming up in your world and have as much fun as you dare. Here are a couple of small examples. What energy, space, and consciousness can I be to be the magic that changes everything around me with total ease? Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What have you decided that you cannot be? So let's play with that. What energy, space, and consciousness can I be to be as wrong as I truly be for all eternity? Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Doesn't that one put a smile on your face? What else could you explore? You are the chief engineer. Maybe you haven't been willing to be all the energy and all the joy and all the possibilities and all the potency that you truly be. Maybe you were told to stuff it as a kid. Maybe you were told that you were too much, or asked that lovely question, just who do you think you are? Or maybe you were told that you can't be too happy, or that you have a problem. I lived most of my life according to everyone's expectations and desires for me to have the life that they could never have, or the life that they've decided was ideal. None of it really worked out well for me. In college, I was diagnosed as bipolar and medicated regularly. I married my college sweetheart right after graduation and, not surprisingly, divorced after a few very short months of marriage. I lived reacting to everything around me rather than recognizing how much of my life I truly do create. And then I discovered Access Consciousness, and I have not looked back. Recognizing that I create my life gave me immense freedom and the choice to change anything and everything. When we begin to acknowledge how much of our life we create, new possibilities begin to show up. So what can we create without our self-imposed limitations? Who would we be without our past, without our decisions, without our histories and definitions of who we are or aren't, and everything that we believe is real and true about us? When we judge ourselves, we lock ourselves in that jailhouse or box or coffin with no apparent way out until we begin to ask, is this real? Am I really trapped? What else could I choose here? And what if there really isn't a box or a jail or a coffin? Who would I be without this limitation? So it's amazing how brilliantly we lock ourselves up in a box for It is amazing how we brilliantly lock ourselves up in a box for which only we hold the keys. What if we could acknowledge that the box is there because we ever so carefully built it up with every choice that we've made in the past and every story we've ever told ourselves? So, will you let go of everything that makes your box of limitations more real than your capacity to create something different? So if those limitations are not as solid and as real as you thought, what can you choose now? Now, this is worth repeating. We create everything in our life, including the barriers and the obstacles to stop us. And then we're frustrated by our struggles. We complain about our situation and we think about how powerless we are. Cute, isn't it? So what can we change here? What if we would turn a blank page and begin to tell a new story? What if we're far more aware than we've acknowledged? And as aware beings, we can perceive so many people around us. Whose points of view are we actually holding on to and creating our life from? Who are we being when we say our door is shut, or that we have no choice? Once we shine the light of awareness on every point of view or story, that we have held on to and acknowledge it, we can see and open a previously hidden door. What if changing is that easy? As easy as choosing? Are you willing to be an allowance of that and an allowance of you? A villa. Question from our caller. Remember, this was a telesummit. Okay, I just saw an ad for a very beautiful villa which feels so expansive and happy and has all the elements I was looking for in my ideal next house. I don't have that kind of money which is required to pay the rent checks. What can I do? I don't see a door, so how can I at least clamber in through the window to have it? Response. I love that. Yes, you can clamber in through the window. First is the desire. You've seen something that you would like. You've chosen it. There's a demand you are making in the world. Now begin asking questions and choosing what's expansive. Like a two-step dance. Choose, follow the energy. Choose again. Our choice creates awareness, and nothing will change if we don't ask and get the universe and the quantum entanglements in motion. There are a lot of people who've never even allowed themselves to see that villa. They've never allowed themselves to consider that there may be something greater for their future. Maybe they decided they're not worthy, or that other people can live in a beautiful villa but not them. Essentially, they exclude themselves from having it. By admiring the villa and desiring it, declaring, I'd like to have that, you've already begun creation. Creation does not come from referring to the past and the logic of what's currently in your bank account and using that as a reason and a justification to make yourself small. Creation does not come from conclusions. It comes from wonder and the questions and the choices that you be. So begin. What would it take to live in a house like that? Or an even better one? Don't limit yourself to just that house. What might turn up is something completely different and much more expansive for you. What will it take to live in a place that will contribute to my life and be totally joyful for me? What can I be or do different today that will begin to create this in my world right away? Hey, universe, what's the place for me? When we attempt to create out of conclusion, out of expectation, and a delivery schedule, we've slammed the door and boarded it up rather than opened it wide. So begin at the beginning by asking an open-ended question. If you don't have a point of view or a conclusion about how something has to look or to be, that it has to be this particular villa or that particular car or this particular relationship, then things can begin to show up in the most amazing of ways. Nilofer. What if you did not buy into everything that you learned from metaphysics about having to be very specific about what you want? What if this was just the energy of what the house is giving you? Like the house that I'm living in right now. 3 years ago, we were actually looking for a house to move into, and I went with a friend who was also looking for a house and stumbled across this one. I came into the house, and the moment I stepped in, my energy just went whoosh. It just expanded out, and then when I looked at everything the house had, it had everything that I didn't even know I was looking for. But it was perfect. It was, oh, I wanted that. Oh, it has this and I wanted it. It has this and I wanted this, and it has that and I wanted it. So what if it was just about the energy? And what if it was just following the energy and choosing from there? So how many doorways of possibilities are we missing when we're so dedicated to looking for something specific? Hint, concluding again, are we? We don't recognize that there's another doorway, another possibility, just next to that doorway or possibility that we've been focusing on. But there is another way around, or even a press here to exit button that we can press that can totally change things. If we're willing to take off our blinders and notice that there are infinite possibilities out there in the world. So what are we refusing to perceive by distracting ourselves with conclusions, reasons, and justifications that if we'd be willing to look beyond them too, I guess, but definitely beyond them, would allow us to create far greater than we've ever dreamed possible. And anything that doesn't allow us to be aware and open and willing to receive everything, can we destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. The other energy in this question is, I love this, but my bank account doesn't allow me to have it. So this would be wonderful. It's just for other people. I recognize that energy, and well, what if it's not true at all? What if the universe is so abundant that it will give us everything that we ask for and desire? What if it's not about surviving like so many people choose in this reality, but thriving beyond it? Are you willing to say, okay, I just screwed up, not my brightest moment, cool, so that was then, and now what? What can I be and do today to create and generate more money right away for now and for the future? Anything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. It might seem as if you're surrounded by barricades, impenetrable ones, and they will begin to shift and change until they just entirely disappear. So now, what will you choose to do and be different to create your reality? Do you notice some other possibilities around you? Fire that judge. A response to a question about judgment. What would it be like if you would turn it up in the face of judgment? So when someone judges you, what if you're being an allowance of their judgment and being willing to be yourself no matter what? Invites the judgment to dissipate. Everywhere someone is judging you, what if who they're really judging is themselves? Are you willing to receive their judgment and just let it flow through you as if you were a wide open window? Well, what contribution would that be? So what does it mean to turn you up? It's being you no matter what anyone else says. It is being aggressively present in your life and never giving up, never giving in, and never quitting. I've been accused of trying to be the center of attention or being competitive, which is kind of funny considering how I was told I'm invisible and irritating as well, right? And regardless of the accusations, with everything that I ever choose or do, I ask, what contribution can I be in the world? And will this create something greater? What would it be like if we no longer took personally the judgments and the definitions and even the projections directed at us? What if what people say to us is more about them and their day and what they may have been going through than about us? So what energy, space, and consciousness could you be to flow through your day with more ease without having your dukes up and defending yourself from everyone else? If you aren't defending for or against anything or anyone, how much freedom would you have in life? What could you create if there was nothing to prove? Now, imagine how many possibilities we can invite everyone to when we allow ourselves to choose something other than beating ourselves over the head by judging ourselves nonstop and our past and our choices and our failures. What if we can show other people that there is another way to be and to enjoy our lives? That's rare in this world. So rare that most people don't even have that as a possibility. Where are you unwilling to receive judgment? How much fun can you have in receiving it? How wrong are you willing to be? How goofy, how obnoxious? When you don't need to be right, you can be free, and that's a priceless invitation. Are you willing to acknowledge the potency of receiving everything, including judgment? It can be a huge contribution in your life. So everywhere you're aligning and agreeing, and resisting and reacting to receiving judgment, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to receive all judgment with ease for all eternity? And everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if there is nothing outside of us that can stop us? The only thing that can really stop us is what's between our own ears. And that's it. What if we fire that little chatterbox? Or what more possibilities can we become aware of without the limits and the meanings that our inner judge places on us? What if we're so much more magical than we've ever imagined? What if we can create a whole new reality totally beyond this reality? Yes, we might have been living as a mite until now, being irritating and being invisible and being small and blending in to be camouflaged so that we don't get hurt or even seen or whatever. And that was then. What if we let that go and begin to let our light shine? Even one little candlelight in a room full of darkness changes things. No more total darkness then. Job is the joy of being you. Question. I knock, 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 applying to jobs and wait patiently for the recruiter to notice. But after 5 years of doing it, I haven't anything on hand. Now I realize I have to change my course of action for a different reality. What particular question or clearing can you help me with, and those in similar situations? Because in terms of job hunting especially, what can a candidate do after sending the resume? Isn't it the recruiter who has to come back to me? Response. Well, there's a few things that you can do in that kind of situation. When you send your resume, remember these people are receiving tens or hundreds, maybe thousands of different resumes for the same positions, right? So what can you do and be different to have your picture and your resume stand out more? What if you're asking a question like, what capacities do I have? What contribution can I be for the business? What if you begin by asking a question like, what capacities do I have and what contribution can I be for their business? And please be aware of what their business is rather than sowing your wild oats by randomly mailing out hundreds of job applications at once. So, okay, if I were working for this company, what contribution could I be for them? What can I be and do different that's going to change things there? What could create more expansion and contribution both for the company and for me? That will change how you present yourself, both in the resume and in the job interview. When you walk into the interview, your presence and your confidence makes a huge difference. My husband is a call center and he recruits people on a regular basis to provide customer service for companies in the United States. I remember being at the job fairs to help recruit and looking at the people and wondering, well, what's different about this person? Would this be a good person to have working on board with us? What's the gift that this person could bring or be? When you begin with the confident kind of energy, you don't walk up to a person who's recruiting and have an apologetic air of, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but here I am on my application and I really do hope you notice it. No, you're present. You strut in with a different energy, with ease, with confidence, willing to acknowledge the greatness of you. I'm a gift in the world, and I can be a gift in your organization. When can you fit me in? When can I begin? It's a totally different energy. They might look at you as if you're the strangest person who's fallen in their lap, but you will definitely stick out. When I filled out my application for university, I just did it to please my parents. I had my heart set on attending the University of Texas, and my uncle came and spoke about a college I'd never heard of, Brandeis University, and said, this is a wonderful university in the Boston area. You should fill this application out. And I said, no way. All my friends are going to the University of Texas in Austin, and that's where I'm going. No question or other possibility in my world, right? Well, my mother grounded me until I filled out the application for Brandeis. So I filled it out in crayons and with lots of different colors and doodles all over the application. I didn't think they were going to take it seriously, but they accepted me because I was me. Look at that energy. I wasn't trying to impress. I was just being myself, and I didn't worry about what they thought of me. So when you're afraid to be you, you blend in with everybody else. And who can find you then? If you're more worried about being appropriate and right and exactly what they're expecting, is there any room for the gift of you? You're already unique and different. What if you'd be willing to express it? So what can you add to your application that will make it more memorable, more you, than anything else that they have ever received? What if you would send in your resume via email with a little video of yourself, or with an audio recording inviting them to call you? or asking them questions in the email or in the resume. Like, how does it get any better than that? And how can I contribute to making your company more innovative, more successful? There's bound to be a humanoid in there somewhere who hears you. Another tool I love playing with is the energy pose. If you know the recruiter's name or even just the name of the company, lower your barriers and pull energy from everywhere in the universe. Pull, 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 expand and pull even more. Pull energy through the name of the company. Pull it through the name of the person that you've sent the application to or the committee that you'll be speaking to about being hired. Pull it through the position, through the company, through you, and back out again. And keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. Keep pulling and pulling until you feel your heart opening up. And then begin to send little trickles of energy out to anyone and everyone in that company that can contribute to your having the job you desire, or better. What if you could use this way beyond a job? What if it could be one of the tools for creating anything in your life? Send those little trickles out to anyone and everyone who may or may not have heard of you yet, may or may not have looked at your resume yet. The moment that they do, ask for that flow to be equalized. So the moment they call you, the moment you walk into their office, the moment they open the mail that you sent them, they feel all right, this is somebody who feels like part of our team, someone who's right for us. But what if you would be willing to be the choosing one, as phenomenal business and leadership facilitator Stephen Chutisa Bowman suggests? What if you live proactively choosing, not reactively waiting to be chosen? What if you would be the one interviewing to see which job you'd like to step into? What if you would choose? So what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be the choosing one for all eternity? Everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what if we would choose not from logic, not from desperation, not from need or obligation, just from, hey, what would I like to choose next? Just for the next 10 seconds. Doesn't have to be a lifetime choice. Just for the next 10 seconds. If you open this door, if you send your resume out to this place, what would your life be like in 5 years? Would it be light? Would it be joyful? Would it be expansive? Cool, go for it. And you can proactively call the company and be that choosing one. Call them and say, hi, I know I sent in my resume and perhaps it wasn't on the top of the list yet, but I'd like to ask, how can I contribute to your company? You choose them and show them how when they have you on board, their life will never be the same again. When you follow what's generative and light for you, it contributes to you, it contributes to the company, it contributes to the way your future is created. Because it's always more fun to create from lightness than from stuckness, right? And how does it get even better? What can you choose that will be greater? Who would be most fun to work with? And for which company would it be generative for you to apply? So rather than doing a blanket mailing, ask some questions and get to know the companies and how you could contribute to them. This way, you're not waiting, you're creating. Most of the companies don't meet many proactive people like that. I remember being at job fairs and having people come up to me to shake hands and applying for a position, and even their handshake was like holding a dead fish. Well, what if you were willing to be different? To be totally, completely present. It might scare some people off, but how many more doors will it open? It is not the end. When you're willing to fail and fall and be grateful for the experience, getting up and dusting yourself off and smiling anyway, you could be the invitation for someone else who's seeking change. Rather than saying, life's terrible, it's the end of my life, it's the end of my rope, it's the end of the way, which, in parentheses, that's not in the book, I'm not meaning to make fun of because I spent most of my life being there. Okay? It's just one possibility, one kind of energy. Back to the book. What else could you choose? There's not one person who survived childhood on this planet who isn't sporting their battle scars, right? So what if those are just our beauty marks for later on? It's not about the past. That's who you were. not who you are now. I was abused when I was younger, and as a result, I said yes to abuse quite a few times since. I also abused myself. It was so familiar. I made myself wrong for it. But what if you didn't make yourself wrong? What if you did not punish yourself incessantly? It was what you could choose before, and now what else could you choose? What if you would be kind with yourself and grateful for your choices? After all, they've brought you to exactly where you are now. There's no need to dwell on why. You chose and created it as part of your experience space. So will you let that define who you be? Who can you be without that particular story? If you didn't decide that it's the end, could it be a new beginning? What is the gift that's there? Change how you see things, and everything you see changes. And keep asking, so what? Now what? What can you do and be different? How can you let life roll off your back, shake it off, and step up? There's the story of a donkey that fell into a well, and the owner of the donkey got several neighbors to come and help him fill the well and, well, bury the donkey at the same time. In their minds, there was no other possibility. Now, the donkey didn't get upset. Every time the people would throw in a shovel full of dirt, he would shake it off his back and step up. Shake it off and step up. Shake it off and step up. And pretty soon, the level of the dirt floor in the well rose and rose and rose until the donkey was easily able to step up and out of the well. He did that by just shaking off whatever landed on him, much to everyone's surprise. So what if you don't let the outside world weigh you down? You can make it significant, choose to have a lot of frustration in life, or you can shake it off, step up, and choose again. You're not a victim. You're magnificent. What can you change in your world that will change things? Would it be lowering your barriers or expanding your being out 500 miles in all directions? Taking a deep breath, asking a question. What if nothing that you were, nothing that you've ever experienced, nothing that is around you now, no box or container or jail that you've ever constructed, is greater than the next choice that you make? What if you are the doorway to a new possibility? Trying to figure out technology here. Here we go. Wow. Well, that was very long. Very, very long, and possibly longer than maybe it had to be, but it just felt really good writing it. Facilitating me. Lots of fucking body myself through that chapter. That was probably one of the best facilitations for myself that I've ever had. Just because it's so apt for where I am. And who knows, maybe it's something that can contribute to your life as well. And one of the things that I noticed, even though this was written in early 2015, and it's a year and a half later, and it's coming out to the world now, it is as relevant now as it was when I wrote it, as it was when I spoke it, as it was when I've used the tools with myself, and as it was before I got on the call today, where I really required that. That was then. And now what can we choose? So what? Now what? What else is possible? And if I didn't make this choice or this story or this limitation that I've bought as real, so real, what else could show up? So, wow. It's been really interesting. I'm so grateful to all of my co-creators in this beautiful book, Where is My Doorway to Possibility? And to Nilofer, who put this all together. Nilofer Safdar is amazing. She has a beautiful website, telesummits that she does, Illusion to Illumination Summit, where she interviews lots of access consciousness facilitators. Each of us comes with different set of experiences, different ideas, different perspectives on life and on using the tools. And that's such a gift to see these tools in action in so many different ways. So I wonder what contribution this could be for you. If you would ever like to reach out to me, you can easily find me on Facebook. My email is rachel@silbers.com. My website, which I'm working on profusely this weekend, is ubjoy.com. And I'd love to connect with you, find out if this was a contribution to you in any way, and to meet you sometime in the future. How does it get me better? And, even if it looks like there's walls and there's doors and there's, things in your way, what else is possible? What else is possible? So thank you, and arrivederci.